my glasses. Shit.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, honey.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I forgot my glasses.
Okay, you gonna go get
Yeah,
them? I
right,
was
right,
gonna
right,
give you
right.
my red ones.
No, no, no. I know. I saw the ones
I'm
you had.
dressed in the colorful flags today.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? I didn't
Yeah.
even ask you what today was yet.
No, I know,
Okay,
but
so
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying I'm in the
all right,
flag colors
everyone, look
today.
at the glasses that she gives me that she
I
wants me
gave
to
them
wear.
the red
This
glasses
is
to
what she
wear.
wants me to wear, everyone.
Look at
Okay.
how nice they are.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're my
They look like
cheat.
fruity
They're my
pebbles.
cheaters. These are
All right. Here
my
we go.
cheaters. You like my glasses?
Oh, they're beautiful.
Aren't they nice? They match my outfit.
Absolutely.
You know who taught me how to match my glasses to my outfits? I never did that. He did. Because when I first met him, he made me get colored glasses for him, everything to match his clothes.
Yeah, she's
So
a wreck.
Really?
I have to do the same thing now.
Must have a lot of glasses then.
I do. I have like 17 pairs, and he has about 25
Yeah,
pairs.
I have a lot.
I keep them in my trunk because when he loses
She keeps
his,
everything in the trunk.
I give him that. Yes, in my trunk.
Yeah. So
Yes,
today is National Flag Day.
yes, it is.
Let's give a
Red,
shout out to the
white,
vets
and blue.
and active members today,
Yes,
which I'm
and
very excited for.
I am too. And we got a nice phone call this week from the West Point Academy.
Oh, really?
You're not going to believe what they want to do.
Okay.
They want Lana. They want to come here and talk to Lana.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
beautiful. Oh,
Isn't
that's,
that great?
That's great.
Wow.
We have this lady, Lana Noon, who was the first person to bring all the babies from Vietnam 45 years ago
Oh,
on the
wow.
plane that crashed in the water. We did a play for her. We reenacted the play last year outside at
Okay.
G's. And we had like 17 actors in it, but it was simple.
Mhm.
Well, a year later, West Point contacted me. They want to talk to Lana and come here and do a show
That's
and
wonderful.
interview Lana. She's like 80 something years old. She's like a
She's
little.
a sweetheart.
So, first thing I said to them was, well, you got to buy her lunch.
That's a really nice thing to say
I
about
did
somebody.
because I
You
was
gotta buy
asking.
her a lunch. She
I
really
was-
needs a lunch.
I said, you got to buy her lunch. She's like a little old lady. You got to. But yes, we'll probably be able to
And
do
buy her a
that.
sweater.
Yeah, because
I
Gregg
hope
is
she doesn't
great.
hear you call her a little
No,
rude, right?
I know,
I
right?
don't know.
Thank
I
you.
don't know. That might not be a
Thank you.
good
No,
idea.
no, Lana loves us.
Oh, my
Okay.
God. Yeah, she
Because
thinks
she-
everybody loves what
Is she
said.
watching?
Lana tortured us to do this, and we did it. Thanks to Gregg, we had it here.
Okay.
It was hard, but it's political. It's like something you want to do. And I'm going to get to meet all the people from West Point, all the cadets.
Yeah, so
Oh,
look,
that's going to be nice.
look what a male would be considered Chester the molester. All right, to make a comment like that, but okay.
No, anyway, I may go up there eventually and do something with the cadets with my book. But in the meantime, they're coming here. I have to check it out with you when we can do it.
Yeah, sure.
And Lana will be ecstatic. So, anyway, so that was the good news for this weekend, getting
All
a
right.
call from West Point. So, not a bad thing, huh?
Well, so good. How about introducing our guest?
I'm going to do it now.
Oh,
So,
Lord Jesus Mary.
we have today on Flag Day, John McEwen. Did I say it right?
Miculin. But
McEwen.
Close enough.
Okay. And
It's true. Well, let me tell you something.
he's easygoing. I like
Everybo-
you.
Everybody always has a different way to pronounce my name. but
McEwen.
Listen, as long as you know who I am,
That's all that
I'm
matters.
getting
I'm
to know
good.
who you are. New York State Assemblyman, Nassau County.
Yeah.
Which means you're in the county building, not the town of Hempstead building.
I'm in Albany.
Oh, you're in
a
Albany.
big shot.
Albany.
Whoa.
I
That's
have
a
big
all the way
shot.
up in Albany, and I have a district office here right in East Meadow.
Yeah, which is what, right on Hempstead Turnpike.
Right on
there.
Hempstead Turnpike.
I didn't know that, but that's
1975.
okay. Well, I might be visiting you
Big white-
soon.
Come on down.
Nah,
Okay,
you don't
yeah.
want that, my friend. You don't want that, my friend. You'll
I'm
never
easy.
get her out.
No, I'm easygoing, but I have a lot of
That's what they all say.
I have a lot of people with things that nobody knows how to do out there, and I count on people like you because I see you do a lot of great stuff. I really
you.
very impressed with what you're doing with unemployment, impressed with what you do with helping the people, and that's what I'm all about.
She's about a lot of things.
Yeah. So let's
But
talk
it's
about
wonderful to
your
hear.
office. I met a
Okay.
very nice lady on the phone. Her name was Liz, Chief of Staff.
She's my
That's
chief
a
of staff. Yes,
nice
she is.
title.
Wow, and she really does a lot, and I greatly appreciate her. I mean,
That's a
Liz,
good
Liz,
man.
I gotta say, Liz, I know you're watching. Anyway, she's our next lieutenant. I'm the lieutenant governor now, and we passed the baton, I believe, in October. And Liz she's with the East Meadow Club, and she's really hard worker. She
And
really,
she's
as
going
you
to be
know.
the next
Yeah, she's gonna be the next
lieutenant
lieutenant governor,
governor.
so I have to pass the baton.
I just
Congratulations,
gotta say, I
Liz.
don't know if she's I don't know if she's watching because she's probably working for the people right now,
Oh,
right? We
oh, I'm
got a lot of
sorry. I
phone
should have
calls
said that.
coming
Oh, I'm
in.
sorry.
No.
Liz, get off right now.
She's got to be watching. If not, she can watch it
Yeah.
later. I had a great conversation with her. I loved her automatically.
Yeah,
I haven't.
she's a
Oh,
sweetheart.
she's absolutely wonderful, and we have all these people call my office every single day, and she's on top of it, and we work well together, and we, like I said, for somebody, my job brings me all around 24/7, whether it's morning here, whether it's, going out at night, whether it's going in my office. And, she really does keep me in line. I mean, we have a schedule, we keep to the schedule, and we go around and, we help the people of the 17th Assembly District, and we have a good time doing it.
It's great. She gave me like four suggestions and four names within like 6 minutes of who to call for what.
Oh, and she's a wealth
That's
of
like
knowledge.
unbelievable. So thank you for that. So what's the biggest topic right now these days?
Well, if you talk about my job in Albany, we just left session last week. And I've got to tell you something. I mean, the state, th- th- it's it's in a bit of trouble. I mean, when we have bail reform last year, when we have the constant attack on the police in the state of New York, we are in a lot of trouble. I mean, I'm up there. I'm standing up for law enforcement, and
I'm
and
happy about
and it's
that.
Yeah,
important that we do that. I mean, it's just terrible the way this defund the police movement is going to make people less safer.
I agree with you totally.
and you see, this is what I don't understand. I forgot which one. See, the one thing I never like, and honestly, is I don't like politics. I don't like religion. Everybody has their beliefs and whatever it is. But I don't understand. I forgot what the woman's name, the one that's run, I think, for mayor. She wants to cut funding for the police, and I sat there. Who in their right mind would want to do that?
Yeah, hurt
Who
the
would?
police.
You know what? But when something
You're
happens
right.
to her or her family and nobody responds, then all of a sudden be like, okay. But of course, that would never happen because they automatically get protection. So
Well,
that's not
look
fair,
at what
which I don't like.
happened in Portland and in
Oh my
Seattle, and
God.
listen, th- that's almost anarchy. I mean, the police need to be there, and we need to support our police.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with that.
I mean, not to say if there's a police officer that does something illegal and wrong, not to say that that person shouldn't be prosecuted
Of
for what it is
course.
that he or she does. But, we have to protect our police, period. Especially in this day and age
Yeah,
where they are under assault and they are under attack, and 95% of them are there and they are doing what's right. I'd say over 95%. I mean, I'd say
I
99%.
agree with you. I mean, I
uh,
have four police people in my family, and
Yeah,
those families, the wives and the mothers, every day they're worried for their children, and then to
of
have this
course.
going on now, it's just even more of a worry.
My two uncles are retired NYPD, and let me tell you something. They were very dedicated to the job. My one uncle was at 9/11 when it happened, and thank God he got out of that alive. But
Hmm.
they were down there. They were helping people. They were working, and without our police, we'd be in a world of trouble.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're passing some bills. Is that what you're
Oh well,
working
they
on?
they passed bail reform. I mean, listen, everything. I mean, when you talk about the repeal of, now you can foil a policeman's record. You can get anything on them.
It's
They
crazy.
want to. It hasn't happened yet, but they want to basically take away all immunity for the police. So now you can sue the police, and they have to pay for it personally. I mean, they're going to make.
What?
Oh yeah, these are the ideas that are coming out there in Albany, and it's terrible. The attack on our law enforcement,
It's ridiculous.
absolutely terrible.
So you're fighting.
Well, we are advocating against that. Listen, the big issue is I'm in the minority in Albany, and the Senate now, the Republicans are in the minority there, and it's a different world. It really is. No matter what side of the political aisle you are on, when the Republicans controlled the Senate, there was a balance.
Hmm.
Now, the balance is gone. You see that with bail reform. Guy gets arrested, he's out in a moment. I mean, we had a case where there was a drunk driver. that killed somebody, and he was out of jail before that family was notified that their loved one died.
That's despicable.
It is.
That's
It really
despicable.
is.
Thank you for what you're doing, because we need
Yeah.
more people like you.
John, what made you get into politics?
Well, to tell you the truth,
Uh oh.
there was a little local issue on my block with a restaurant. I'm not going to mention any names here, but they were valet parking on my block, and I was about 16, and listen, I was going to school. The waiters and waitresses were in front of my room playing music at 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to wake up at 6 o'clock. It wasn't a good scenario at all. So I called on over to Councilman Gary Hughes at the time. I don't know if you remember him. He was in
Yes,
the town of Hempstead,
absolutely. He's at the jewelry
and
store, doesn't he, or something?
he does
Yes,
own a jewelry store. Yes,
yes.
and I started working with him, and he was basically saying to himself, like, who's right? Is it because the restaurant's saying they're not valley parking? I'm saying, what are you, these people are. So he came down one day and he watched them valley park. He realized that I was correct. It took me a few years. We finally got the cars off the block, and that's really what spearheaded everything. Because then I got a job within his office, and eventually, I had a friend that was on the library board, the Island Trees Library Board, and he wanted somebody to run for it. And I said, okay. I said, I'll do it. I ran and I won that position as well. So I was working in the town of Hempstead, and I was on the library board, and that helped me too, because it got me really oriented within the community. And there was a huge issue on the library board when I was there, because the school district at the time wanted to sell the plot of land that the library was on and move the library into the middle school, and I opposed it. And eventually, we rallied the community together. We won an election, and now they're building a larger library on that same spot
Oh, that's
because of
great.
Oh, is it
the, the,
currently
the
they're
work
doing
that
that?
we did. Currently, yeah, I believe that library is going to be opened up soon.
Good to know.
So that all happened, and then I was involved locally. Then with all my, I went around for my local candidates, and eventually, I was asked if I wanted to run for this position when
Just like
Tom
that.
McKevitt, and yeah, and it's been a wonderful time. So really, sometimes the things that you do in high school
Yeah,
really,
that's right.
mold what
Formulate
happens
your
in your
life.
life.
It's very true.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah, but
very true.
that's so rough when you turn around and you see all the politicians. Look, the only reason why not you, you're different. The other ones that I know, Cuomo, which I thought I met him, nice guy, father I loved. I mean, personally, he's a nice guy to me because he was always a nice guy. It's not like he made a pass at me or just looked at my face and said anything like that. But um, it's really sad what ended up, the outcome. But
Yes.
do you really think he is going to run again? What do
You
you
know
think?
something? I mean, he's having a
What's the buzz?
fundraiser.
Oh
So,
wow,
if you're having a
that's
fundraiser, it
something.
signals
Yeah,
to
that means
me,
yeah,
Maybe
you're
he's
right.
either
running
you're
Yeah, for
going to
again.
do
sure.
something or you're not going to do something. But, the real tragedy of this whole story is, and listen, I'm not discounting anything. I think everything should be investigated. Every allegation of the sexual misconduct has to be investigated and has to be looked into. However, there were so many seniors that passed away in those
Oh,
nursing homes
yes.
because of that executive order. And let me tell you something, that executive order on itself, that's not criminal. That's a bad decision. It means you really, should think about whether or not it is you should be governor, because you should never have put COVID-19 patients in the nursing home to spread the virus along. Um, but what happened when the Department of Justice came by and said how many people passed away in the nursing
Yep.
homes,
Because they put them
and
in
you
isolation.
gave a lower number than was actual. Now there's the potential, it's a Department of Justice investigation. Were we telling, or not we, but was the governor or the governor's office telling the Department of Justice something that they knew was not true? And that, in itself has to be investigated, because it's one thing to have this tragedy and it's another thing to lie about the tragedy.
Well, we had on the show 2 months ago the nursing home warrior. She's a woman that represents the nursing homes, and she actually works in one.
Well,
And
okay.
she told us stories, and it's like when they put
Sad.
these people in isolation, that's when they died
No,
because they just
horrible.
lost everything.
Yes. Listen. I'll never forget. It was right before the election, and I was in an interview with one of the local newspapers, and they asked me about it and what were my criticisms. And the first thing I said was I criticized this policy of sending the patients right to the nursing homes. And he goes to me, and he's quoting me the statistics at the time. And, I basically said we should have used the U.S. Comfort. We should have used the Jacob Javits Center. I mean, they laid empty
Right.
while we put the people back in the nursing homes. But I told the reporter at the time, I said, these numbers have to be higher. He goes, what? I said, well, if you're in a nursing home, right, and you get COVID in the nursing home, and now you go to the hospital, and you pass away in the hospital, well, that's a nursing home death that now that might count as a hospital death. I said, so these numbers can't be accurate. The numbers have to be higher. What we didn't know is really how much higher
Right.
the
And we'll
numbers
never know
were.
really.
Well,
No,
yeah.
I,
we
I,
never
I
know
mean,
the
I don't think
truth,
we ever
right?
will.
It's very, very sad. The whole situation was rough, and there's not a week that goes by that
oh
somebody
gosh.
doesn't call me that say my mother passed,
Yeah.
and most of the time she passed in the nursing home.
No, think about it. I mean, in New York State, we had more COVID deaths than Florida, and Florida has more of a population.
Yeah.
You know, why is that? There had to be something, that
Wrong,
that went wrong here.
right? Very true.
Now,
Very
how
true.
did you do during the whole situation with COVID? Just
Well,
kind of locked yourself with family.
no, well, something. I mean, I've got a job to do.
Right.
So, we did our job. During this crisis, when the governor came and the executive order came and everything was shut down, people were out of work. I mean, people had to get their unemployment checks. I mean, my office almost became another wing of the Department of
I
Labor,
see that. I
because
read
all
that.
these people that were calling my office that we were helping, and a lot of people, thank God, we were able to help them. But we had to keep on working, and we did what we had to do. I mean, sometimes we were working from home. We gone into the office, different times to properly social distance, but we were working. And when you have my job, you have to work thin and through. There's no taking a day off because there's a
24/7,
crisis
right?
or locking
Yes.
yourself in. We're on, and we have to be on because these people needed help, and it's a shame. But
Well, that's the issue in the county now with a lot of things. Sometimes you can't get through to that one person because there's so much voicemail and you can't get through unless you have an advocate like yourself or an advocate that's out there that can help you get to someone like yourself.
well, the horror stories with the Department of Labor. I
Oh,
mean, they were hiring these people that didn't really know what
Right.
they were doing.
oh yeah.
Not 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 their fault. But I heard stories that you call 3 times and you
Yep.
would hang up, and I mean, w- listen, even today, I mean, it's not the greatest scenario, but at
It's a
least
little
we
better.
were able to
Right.
provide help to people. I
Exactly.
mean, were we successful every step of the way?
No, you couldn't
No,
do it all.
but the truth of the matter is if you called my office, you got a call back, you got your situation reported, and
And
once
that's
again,
terrific.
if you didn't receive a response back, you were told to call my office back, and we followed up. So,
Yeah, that's a great tool. Great
so
tool. So, what do you think as far as the seniors go? What are they lacking right now other than, the COVID problem? But do you feel
well,
there's a lack of support for seniors?
I think that there, well, right now, especially within this climate, when we're talking about these social aspect
Right.
and what's going on, especially during the pandemic, when I understand people wanted to separate themselves from their loved ones to kind of protect them. I said, but unfortunately, when you separate yourselves, especially with these nursing homes or with these centers, it's important that the people in there have their family come and see
Absolutely.
them. This whole um, notion of, and I saw it firsthand within if you went to a rehabilitation center, or if something happened to you and you were in the hospital, especially for seniors, they were alone. Their family wasn't
That was
allowed in.
right.
They
Yeah.
had to go to the
Yeah.
window. And you want to know something? How many of those seniors were depressed?
Very
I mean, how many
depressed.
people would be depressed? You don't even
I
have
mean,
to
I
be
was
a
just depressed
senior.
sitting there not being able to
Right.
go
You're
anywhere.
right.
You
You
know,
don't even have to be a senior, but if you're put in a place where none of your loved ones
can
can
come
Can
see
come
you
on
because
in
right.
that's what you look
and
forward to.
see you,
That's it.
well, you want to know
Absolutely.
something. What's going on here, and you want to know something now. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be socially distant and we shouldn't take the right precautions. But there has to be a balance, and something we should have been able to, and that was one of my criticisms of what happened within the pandemic. We should have been able to provide families who had loved ones in nursing homes a way to visit them
Excellent.
safely, but a way to visit them,
Right.
a way to see them. I mean, even now, you go in there, you're only allowed to see your loved one for
Yeah,
15
Yeah,
minutes.
it's
yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
It
Come
is.
yeah. That's
on,
right.
Now,
That's
if
right.
you're lucky
come
enough
on.
that you can take them
That's
out,
right.
then you can get them out of there.
I
Yeah.
mean, listen, I'm
Yep.
fortunate enough that my grandparents are at home,
Yes.
and they're in a house. So I mean, I could go
Yeah.
see. I mean, I could spend 3 or 4 hours with them.
Right.
I
Right.
said,
Right.
Not
but
everybody
what
can.
happened if they were in a nursing home and you told me that I could only spend 15 minutes with them?
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, can I get them out of the
Yeah.
nursing
That's it.
home to come to
Exactly.
my house?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly. That's
I
right.
don't think I'd want them in
That's
that
right.
nursing home.
I
No,
agree with
absolutely.
that.
You're absolutely right about that. Right on.
We
It's
just got to give
unbelievable.
a quick shout out to Jenny A, Jenny C, Ashley. Wow, I'm very shocked. Thank you, hon. Tess, how you doing? I know we have to have lunch, Tess. I didn't forget about you. Jennifer, oh Jennifer, my little Jennifer. Eliza, we have Gloria. How are you, Gloria? Howard, we have Stacy, we have Nancy, Celso. Oh my God, Celso, you must have taken off this today. Lisa, how are you? Paul, Lynn, Karen, Ellen. We have Alexa. How are you, Alexa? Mike and Beatrice. Beatrice, we did miss you this weekend. Karen came through. Karen, how are you, honey? And even though Karen is, well, she kind of was loyal to G's. She used to come like every weekend. But of
Really?
course, now, because of the sun and everybody on
Oh,
the
is
beach,
that why we haven't seen her?
yeah, that's right.
I haven't
She,
seen
she pulled,
Karen or
I know,
Beatrice
she
lately.
pulled a Houdini act, but it's okay. We love you. And then Sandra and Patrick and Paul, in case I'm missing him, I know I'm missing Benny.
Wow.
Benny, how you doing? Benny's
Oh,
with Elite
Betsy,
Painting,
yeah.
great guy. In case I miss anybody, and I miss anybody, I know I'm missing somebody. I'm missing a couple of people. Well,
Right.
I'll get back to you again. And Gloria Pagano, no, we're good for right now.
Nice to see everybody
Oh,
chiming
we have
in.
to also mention that Matt Speaker's having a great golf outing as we speak.
Oh,
And it's a Kiwanis thing. And Rich is a great guy. Stacy also works, and Diane and Mike. These guys really put a lot of. They're gonna have a bocce tournament for me. I believe the first weekend.
oh, that's
Yeah, it's a
fun.
big fundraiser for me there.
Oh,
And yeah, it's
nice.
really nice. Also, we have to mention that on July 15th, I told you again, guys, July 13th is my birthday, the most important day of the year,
Yep.
July 13th. And we're going to have a fundraiser at Captain Lou's on the Princess in Freeport, July 15th.
Yeah, we'll
So
be
we're looking
getting that
forward. Yeah,
information out to you this
yes,
week.
that's right. So we're looking forward to that.
And
And
that is the great birthday of the year.
it used to be an all white event, meaning you just wear white stuff, and a lot of women said I don't like the way I look in white,
You
so
look
they
nice
wouldn't
in
come.
white
So they
today.
wouldn't come.
Your tan is quite striking with the white. Look good. Doesn't he look good?
Yeah, see, I look
Well,
good.
he's
Would you date me?
well,
Does
I
he
mean,
look
I'll
good?
date
that's
you.
not,
I know,
come
I
on,
know.
God.
Where that from?
Whoa, yeah,
Easy.
we're
Yeah,
gonna get
thank
it.
you.
We're gonna. He's all yours.
Easy,
Trust
killer,
me.
easy.
I'm
Well,
married.
I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, the thing is, we always
My
start the
wife
show
With
with
was
a
Sal,
little
like that,
fun.
right?
Sal, I forgot to mention. Looking forward to you guys playing again here soon. Rockstar Sal, great
Oh
guy.
yeah, I
So I'm sorry.
met him once.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So you didn't say anything 'cause we always do this
Oh
like
yeah, you cubbies
scenario.
have no cleavage.
No, no cleavage
Yes,
today,
I'm proud
not
of
at
you.
all. All right, but how do you like your vanilla chai, vanilla hot
Oh,
tea?
I know. You know what?
It wasn't your regular. You didn't
I'm
even
very proud of
say
you. No,
anything.
no, no. Well, when I got here a little late,
The
but
machine
thank you.
was
They were cleaning it
unfortunately
out while
cleaning
you made.
it.
Yeah,
So
see,
I said
they
to the
put the
guy,
rest of the residue in mine.
I said
That's
to
why
the
I'm
guy,
getting
no.
clumps and bits. I'm
What
going.
I said to him was, listen, he's going to be mad at me if you don't give me the hot chai tea. So do something else. And he did. He said, I'll make him a
Yeah,
vanilla
I know.
tea.
It's okay.
How does it taste?
It's beautiful.
But you didn't say nothing. You're
Well, what am I
supposed
going
to
to
pick
say to
on
you right
me.
now? Look, I just came in here and I started
He
writing.
usually picks on me when I don't bring the right tea.
And listen, almost 2 years we're going. How many years? 2 years. Monday and Thursday.
Yeah, but I don't do it
No, no, no,
anymore.
no, no. Easy killer.
Susan does it now.
All of a sudden, the other day, she brings in,
The wrong thing.
first of all, I don't know what it was. And then she says, listen, I got you what you wanted. What is it? Cliff, I forgot a latte cup or whatever it was. And I was like, since when do I drink a latte?
I
No,
did.
you always drink it. See, now she's arguing
See,
with me.
because Susan, who's not here today,
Yeah.
she
I
does
hope you're feeling better,
helps
hon.
out. She's
Really,
not actually. Get well,
you're in our
Susan.
prayers.
And so, of course, I called somebody, else and said, "What does he usually get?" I walk in and they don't have it. So again, but you didn't yell at me today, so thank you.
The show's not over. There's time for that.
So how about the subject of, because so many people are not talking about seniors, just in general, depression. It's huge out there.
Well, mental awareness is key. I mean, we talk about this. I was actually on the mental health committee, and they always fight for funds for
But
that
you're getting
committee.
some. I don't
No,
know
well,
if
we
you
don't we
are.
don't usually get funds for that,
Right.
for mental health. I mean, unfortunately, that's something that the governor doesn't invest in. They invest in everything else.
But we,
They invest in, you get $27 million for people who are not here legally to go to school. You
Yeah,
you
which is
get
insane.
$2 billion for the unemployment fund now for people who are not here legally. You got millions and millions of dollars for these pet projects that go all
There's a
out.
lot of projects
Listen,
going on right now,
how about that Buffalo Billions from years ago? But we don't really invest in
which is
mental health,
so
and
important.
it is important. I mean, I myself, if anybody watching this wants to call on my office, there is a if you feel anxiety and stress, we are doing a workshop today. It's on Zoom, so anybody's welcome to
how did they
call
go?
on
How
in.
did they go out to
Well, if
that?
they call my office at
Right.
516-228-4960, we'll
Direct them.
they'll tell you how to go on the Zoom
That's
event tonight,
excellent.
hosted also
Yeah.
with the East Meadow Public Library.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell you, and I believe it starts at 6. But it is very important because we see this coming on up, and you want to know something? I know we say, even without COVID, it's a problem, but now with
Oh,
COVID,
it's tremendous now.
kids in school who weren't able to do their sports programs, who
Yeah.
were separated, so socialization. There's only so much that you can do on a computer screen. I mean, my wife's a teacher, and let me tell you, so the first thing she said throughout all of this was, "It's always better when I have these kids face to face
Uh,
in class.
in
Yeah.
anything,
The
right?
interaction's much better." I mean, when they're home and they're on the computer, you
They're
don't
not interested.
you don't know what's going on around them. You see them on the screen, but you don't know what's happening in their kitchen. Is their sibling over there doing another class? What's going on?
It's too much,
Right.
and
Right.
I have two teachers that are good friends of mine that said they're ready to leave the profession because
Uh,
it's too difficult to be a teacher right now,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's
teachers
not
are
good.
moms and dads.
Yeah.
oh, listen.
It's really sad because when you really think about it, single parents send their kids to school. Some single parents have to work two, three jobs.
Yeah.
So they don't have an opportunity to do homework with the kids, to review, to do whatever. And the kids sometimes act up. And parents are getting annoyed that they're getting letters. I know this one parent, nice person, but blames the school for everything.
Oh, there's always those
So
around.
you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, you send your kid like at 8. I think it's an early morning program, something like 7. They have some kind of program, and then the kid stays all the way till I think 5:30. It's like a late because she's working. So the kid acts up. Don't get me wrong; he doesn't see his mom, and
Yeah.
so and she blamed the school. I said, but the teachers are literally telling the kids what to do, what not to do, teaching them and talking to them, disciplining and so forth. So it's really, really hard for a single parent anyway, but
It's
it's
true.
not always the school. Maybe it
No,
could be
no.
you,
Well,
just a little bit,
it's
you know.
I mean, there's always a balance, but the point of the matter is the kids should be in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Sending them home with it. I mean, in the beginning, we had to
You had no
do that.
choice,
We
right?
we had no choice. We didn't know what was going on. But something, it was proven, and they should have done their best to get the kids back sooner, because if you look
Yeah,
what happened in Florida, they basically said keep kids in school, and like I said before, their rate of COVID was lower. I mean, so there were precautions that
We'll
we
take
could
it.
have taken,
Right,
and,
right.
and, and we could have got the kids back sooner. But the truth of the matter is education um, was affected, and
Definitely.
it's going to be a problem going
And
forward.
then now I noticed I was speaking to some of the moms clubs, and they're very upset about the masks. They don't want their kids
Oh,
wearing the
uh,
masks anymore.
uh,
That's a big problem right now too.
yeah, yeah.
I
What
mean,
is it?
we have that from the
They don't call you. They don't
from the
call you
school
for that, do
districts.
they?
Of
Do they?
They call you for
People call me
everything.
for everything. I mean, but if you want to know what happens, this is the governor's executive order. And you know something, can we override the executive order? Yes, we can in the legislature, but that's going to take
Time, right?
no, that's going to take the same political party as the governor to step up and agree with us and say,
And that's
okay,
not
it's
easy.
time to
That's not
take their
happening.
power. Well, it's not. They said it happened. Remember back in when they said
Right.
it was stripped? They didn't strip the governor of anything. What really happened was they came on in and they said, okay, you're not allowed to make any new executive orders. However, you can amend all your old executive orders. Well, he did an executive order on everything. Then to top it on off, his executive power was supposed to sunset in April. So when they came back, they said that said that they were taking away his power. Well, they
They get
extended it because now he's able to renew his executive orders every 30 days. So he's able to renew his executive orders and he's able to amend his executive orders. So that's not taking away his power. That's saying don't write any new ones. But when you wrote an executive order on everything, I mean, obviously he's going to find something to do what he wants.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
It's really,
you know,
it's really
Yeah,
a
it's
tough
ridiculous.
situation going on right now.
you
You,
know.
you, you really think he has a good shot of
Listen,
winning?
I think that
They stop with that.
anything's
What, I'm
possible.
sorry, they still have that investigation going on. But you see how, like everything else, the way it came out so strong, everybody said, boom, 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 every woman's popping out, pop, 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 pop. And all of a sudden, it just died out.
No,
I don't get it.
I
It just died
I
out.
don't get it as well. I mean, the assembly. I know that I called for the impeachment inquiry because I mean, let's be first and foremost. There has to be an investigation. The investigation has to bring on over results. You have to present it to the legislature, meaning us, and then we have to look at the evidence and we have to vote on it. So it went to the Judiciary Committee right now, uh, and session ended. So we're not coming back probably until January. The Judiciary Committee is not meeting. Why is it that they didn't bring these results on out? So they delayed the process. This is something that should have been done. It could have been done within a few weeks. They could have made a recommendation, and then I could have looked at the evidence along with my other colleagues and decided yes or no. I- Is this offense an impeachable offense? But they didn't do the investigation,
Dragged it on.
or they are doing the investigation, but they haven't really, you know they're not showing us the results of anything yet, and they should have done this a while ago. Now they still can, but the,
Mm.
the real question
They're
is
not going to.
listen, we're going to. I can't say anything for certain, but they could have done it already.
Yeah.
So it's called drag it
See,
on,
that's
drag it on.
that's the bad part, especially in politics. Either they're all on your side or they're against you. When you really think about it.
It's no middle
And if
ground.
you have more on your side and which you're against, like for instance Republicans, I mean they're having a field day. Anything that Republicans say, they like Trump done, boom. You know what I mean? Anything, and it's sad that you can prolong something like this. And this is a if look, it's an allegation. So who knows? Every politician in the world is some kind of a womanizer at some point, meaning just saying hello doesn't mean you're a womanizer. I'm not sticking up for him at all. I'm just saying politicians in
Things
general.
happen.
Things happen. I mean, you're in the eye of the public. So, and now everybody has a phone. Everybody has
Yeah,
a camera.
Yeah, that's true.
When they
absolutely.
have him holding that girl, I got to just say, you're gonna say at that time that he just said to that girl, "You look beautiful." I mean, something like that. But it was a perfect picture. It was a perfect statement that was, stated by him. I mean, he could have said it much earlier. Who knows? But picture tells a thousand tales.
Well, that's true.
You don't
So
know. I wasn't there.
right,
I
exactly. I
can't
wasn't
make
there. Right.
any judgments, but all I know is that every allegation that came forward needs to be fully investigated. Period. That has to happen. It needs to be investigated, and I know it's in the Judiciary Committee right now, but we should be getting some answers at what the investigation, what
Right.
results have come about. You know,
Sure. Sure.
and that's just the story here. I
Mhm.
mean, but it's been taking a while,
Mhm.
and I really don't. I'm not on that committee, so I can't speak to what the holdup is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we appreciate everything you are trying to do, and educating everyone on what you do. Is there anything really? exciting coming up in the district office or in the area in Levitt, where you are?
Well, as I said, we are having actually, like I said, anybody who calls my office, we can get a list of events.
Oh, that'd be
I know
great.
on July 29th that we're having a blood drive on over in Levittown, and that's something that I do, especially with the Levittown Fire Department. Twice a year, once in January, once in July, and I try to set up in the libraries, but now with COVID and everything, the libraries
Yeah,
are doing less and less programming. But the fire department comes, we collect a lot of pints of blood. And it's great because we are really saving lives in that
that's
matter.
terrific,
We
and
do
you
a
need it
mailing,
now.
we
Gosh.
do robocalls. We do any way that we can get this out because listen, there's a blood shortage.
Yeah.
Uh, we we know this, especially during COVID. When you can only go to a few places to
Right.
give blood. Now it's opened up again, and we need to make sure those blood banks are filled. So July 29th, we're doing that, and we're also doing a boater safety course.
Oh,
The
that's
boater safety
excellent.
course is coming. Well, you know what happened? We passed something called Brianna's Law on
Mhm.
up in Albany, and basically what happened is this girl, Brianna, and it was she unfortunately was in a tragic accident on the water, and her mother, and I think it happened about 20 years ago or so now, and her mother was advocating for this law to get passed, and now in order to really drive a boat, you have to take a course. Now, it's not a it's it's one course. It's about
It's a
four
safety course.
hours,
That's
but
what it
but it's a
basically. It's
safety
just a
course.
safety. Doesn't
It
teach you how to
it's a
drive a boat.
safety course,
You know.
and so we passed that on up in Albany, and the next answer, of course, is you know people who want to boat, because we want people to go boating. We just want them to be
Absolutely.
safe on the
Yeah.
water by
Sure.
doing it. We don't want anybody drinking and driving a boat. Like, we don't want anybody drinking and driving, and we want people to know when they're out there,
Mhm.
what is it that you have to do. So, we are sponsoring a safety boater course. It's
Very
coming up
nice. I like that.
um, next week on Saturday. And like I said, anybody who wants can call my office, and it's done by appointment. It's going to happen at the VFW Hall in Levittown, and hopefully we get a lot of people there so that they can enjoy the water and enjoy the summer season.
You can have Liz send me that on a flyer, and I'll post it on our Facebook.
Absolutely, we
Yeah,
will
we're
do that.
happy to share. I
We
share
will
a
do
lot.
that.
As Greg always says, you share a lot. I do. I share a lot on Facebook. But it's important for the community.
And I'm also going to try to bring on up. We have to finalize some events, but I usually do for my district. We do a meet Miculin. So
Oh,
basically, I mean, before COVID, it was a lot
MM.
easier. Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely.
MM.
But before COVID, it was a lot easier because we had the library. So I would pick a date, and I go to each library within my district, and it was just one on one. So if you had an issue, you could come, you could sit down, and you could talk to me personally. Now it's tougher because we don't
Right.
have the events, and sometimes people don't have access to Zoom. But we're going to try to get that back on up again, and
Yeah, I
When are
hopefully
you
did
we're
that.
going
going to
to?
get people
Yeah, I
in.
You're
did
going to
that
Albany
once.
again, aren't
Um,
you going to?
well, Albany, our session just ended last week,
Okay.
so we are on break.
Okay.
And
How long
we're
is
at the
break for?
call of the speaker.
How long is break for roughly?
Well, we definitely are going back in January. That being said, we could be called sooner,
Soon. Okay.
depending upon
All right.
if it's the call of the speaker. And, in my mind, I hope we're not called sooner because that usually means that something bad's going to happen.
Oh,
Oh
But,
really?
oh,
jeez.
yeah, I
Really?
mean, the last time we were called back in December, it was to extend the eviction moratorium. Now, that's coming up in August again. If they extend that one more time, let me tell you something. I have landlords, and I know one person trying to sell his house right now. He had cancer, going through divorce. Needs the money from the sale of the house. Has a tenant in the house. Tenant won't move, won't pay rent.
Right.
You
See,
can't get
it's
rid of him, and now he can't sell his house. And it's all because government is doing this. We are
It's
really
not fair
stopping
to the
business
homeowner.
here. It's not fair to the homeowner, and you want to know something? It's not fair to that tenant because that tenant, who's sitting there not paying the rent, still owes the rent.
And they're not going to pay it.
Still owes the rent.
you're never going to get it.
You will probably never get
That's
it,
right.
but they'll have a judgment on over their head that they'll never be able to get out of, and then that poor landlord, if he's using the money to pay the mortgage or pay taxes on his property, now he can't pay that. That guy's gonna lose his house or his
Exactly. And
apartment building
I've
or
heard
whatever it is.
of somebody, a friend of mine in Suffolk County, who actually paid their tenants to leave.
No, a lot of people
Oh,
do that. What are you kidding me? A
Yeah.
lot of
yeah,
people
that's
do
Do
pretty
me a
that.
bad.
favor and leave, and
Yeah, a
then
lot of people
yeah,
do that.
and pay them.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people do. When
And
they're
those,
trying to sell the house,
yeah,
they'll turn around and, of course, the tenant's going to say, you know, I don't have any money. So if you're selling the house, they'll say, give me 15, 10, 15,000.
yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's
Well,
really
You're
it has
staying
this.
there,
absolutely
you're living
insane.
there
What has
rent
this
free for
world
two
come to?
years, and
Yeah,
yet on top of it, I have to pay you to leave.
Yeah, that. Let me tell
it's
you,
crazy.
this guy's Italian, so he's
I,
like
I,
crazy.
I, I remember. I remember there was one time um, couldn't get a tenant for something I bought many moons ago, and the guy said to me, he goes, "Go ahead." He goes, "What are you gonna do?" And I said, "Listen, I've asked you. You haven't paid rent in 4 months. Blah blah blah, whatever. And it's not like you even make an attempt." And
Give you
he just said
$100.
something to me,
Yeah.
and I just looked at him, and I got so angry. And he looks at me, and he goes, "Go ahead, please hit me. I'm gonna own this." That's what he says to me. Please hit me so I can own
Maniac.
I
this.
believe it.
Can you believe that?
That's a devil.
I'm like, whoa. And you know what? I found out where he finally got out, and he did the same thing to the
Some
to
people
somebody
do
else.
that.
Yeah,
That's their
I
life.
know.
Terrible.
There's some people that like squatters or whatever. I mean, they just go in the beginning, give a couple of months, and stay there for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, it's
And
really
Like, how did you
unfortunate.
do that?
well, you know something. How could you do that to your fellow man? Think about. How, I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
how? I mean, how can you do that? I mean, you probably own this place. You know, you're there. You saved up a little bit of money. You bought
yeah.
yourself a little
To
place.
do a little
And what
investment, whatever, you know.
you want to know something?
It's
And a lot
unfair.
of these people, and we're not talking about the big
Right, right,
landlords.
right, right,
There are a lot of small landlords, and listen, I have them in my own
Simple
family.
people, right?
right.
Small landlords, all right, that are renting, something to pay their taxes on their
Yeah.
house. And a lot of people are renting just to live here now. Taxes are so high. You got these seniors right now who apply for these senior residencies so that they can rent a portion of their house so that they don't have to leave the house that they lived in
Oh,
for
they
Right,
can
for
right,
so
rent it.
right,
long,
right.
Right. Now they're
so that
doing
they
And
that
can
now,
too.
didn't
legally
it go
rent.
to, I think,
And now that
7 years?
yeah.
5 to 7 years, they could, like, the nursing homes could,
Look back.
yeah, look
Right.
back 5 to 7 years. It used to be like 3 years.
Now
No,
And then all of
no.
a
everything's
sudden it
made
went up
it
to
a
five now,
lot
yeah.
harder. But at least now the town of Hempstead has that program. So if
What
you
is it?
can't pay your rent
Right.
now
Oh,
and
they'll
you
help
are
you?
a minimal income, the town will pay a year's rent for your to your landlord
Well,
direct.
this state, um, that's a program that came out with the state.
Right.
You,
It's a
you, you
great
can
program.
go
It
on
just
the state
started.
website. It didn't just start. It was in the works for a long time. I mean, the problem is right now dispersing the money to the landlords because the state, they don't do anything right. But
But they just opened it up here
well, they
a month
just
ago.
finally funded
Oh,
it,
the all right. So they
but it
announced
was
it. Right.
there,
Okay.
and one of the criticisms that we had was, all right, well, when are you going to deliver this funding to the people that need it? And
Well, now
so
there's a
that was
place
the
you can
answer.
go and apply.
Well, and let's just hope that they don't extend this in August again,
I know.
because at
Now,
this
if they
point the
extend it, how long
emergency's
are they going
done.
to extend that for? This is so you
Who knows?
cannot evict anyone, correct?
Who knows how long? I mean, they'll they will tell us in August.
Yeah, it's
But
terrible.
the real truth of the matter is that this virus, the infection rate now is very low. We're really coming out of this. I mean, when people they either have the antibodies. A lot of people are getting vaccinated
Yeah,
now,
it's
so
much better. Thank
and
you.
something now the hospitals really know how to treat this, whereas last year they didn't. So we have the immunotherapy where they're giving the people the antibodies, and they have treatments that are going, whether it's the remdesivir, and now I believe they even said that hydrochloroquine that
Right.
it it does work. So
But what's your answer to someone? Because I hear this all the time. Wait, they say, wait, wait. You're gonna see everything's gonna happen again. People say that.
you never know.
Yeah,
We don't know how this virus is going to react. But what we do know is that we have to get back to our lives the
exactly. I
best
agree.
we can,
Right.
and not only the best we can. I know I'm not saying, and as a person of faith, you always says, the Bible always says, go on without fear, and we must do that. Now, that doesn't say that we shouldn't take our proper precautions. That doesn't say that we shouldn't, wear a mask if it helps, or socially distant, or use your hand sanitizer, or do
Sure.
some things that.
Hmm.
But you want to something. We can't be in the house all the time. We have to get people to work, because the truth of the matter is people need food. They need to pay for their
Right,
their
right,
their
right, right, right.
mortgages.
Insurance,
They
all the
need to
above.
pay for things,
Right.
and you're not going to do that if you don't work.
Well, absolutely. You got to work.
Got to work.
You got to work. I
And,
mean,
and
yeah.
and that's what this country was built upon.
That's
The
right.
Right.
idea of the American dream, the idea that you can go out there and you can work and you can make an honest living and you don't have to depend upon the government. And I
That's
think
right.
sometimes that we forget that in Albany.
So look, everybody, they were making more money on unemployment than
Oh,
they were making,
Right.
working,
and that's terrible.
and it's
Well,
sad.
that
It's
was
terrible.
really
Well, we
bad
shouldn't,
for
you know,
the work ethic of certain
absolutely.
people, unfortunately. That not
Absolutely.
everyone, I mean, there's all different categories of people. But right now, if you talk to an employer that's looking to hire, he says nobody
Hmm.
wants the
Yeah,
job.
nobody wants the job. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's. Yeah,
Well, there are states across the United States of America now. I know Montana was one of them that they're saying they're going to, stop this unemployment because they said that they need the workforce. They need the people to get back to work. And that's what this country was built upon. It really was. My grandparents, my mother's side's from Italy, but my father's side is from Croatia. And my grandparents, my grandmother and grandfather, they met here, but they were both born in Croatia, and they left communism. They left this idea of government owned, and they came here and they made a better life for themselves because they were able
Absolutely.
to work. My grandfather became a longshoreman. My grandmother was a cleaner. They were able to work. They were able to get good union jobs, and they were able to provide for my father and my aunt, and eventually even me.
I made a living,
And and,
right?
and, and and they made a decent living. They took care of their own family, and they didn't need any government assistance. But you go back, and I visited my family in Croatia, and I remember my great uncle saying, if this was still Yugoslavia, we'd be hungry.
Mm.
And it's all because of that philosophy of being dependent on the government. And we have to tell people, especially with this Democrat socialism coming in with this AOC, this idea that the government can pay for everything, it's just not true. It all comes from individual entrepreneurism. That's it. Individuals have to go on out there and their ideas, and we in government have to make an environment where we can foster those ideas and not penalize people for it. All this taxation in the state of New York, it's driving people out. But if you have a place, you have an environment where people know that they can build a living, that they can take their risk, that they can basically make the American dream, then they're going to stay, then they're going, and we're all going to prosper because then those people are going to hire more people, and
yes,
we're all
yeah,
going to
and so
be
on and so on.
better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And some people, the children are leaving, and that's
Absolutely.
how do we keep people on Long Island? How do we keep the kids here?
Now listen, because listen, I'm very fortunate. I mean, I got married a few years ago where the housing market was lower. I was able to get something.
Right.
Today,
It's crazy.
It's
Yeah, no,
really
I
hard
know.
holy
today.
It's
mackerel!
crazy.
You
It
you
really
could
is.
You need a lot of cash for your down
a
payment.
Yeah,
person
that's right.
my age, all right, and it wasn't easy when I did it, but a person my age, my colleague, a little bit younger than me. I mean, the house that they grew up in, and I think parents always want their kids to do better, but you at least want your kid to be able to buy the house next
Right,
door,
right. Yeah,
right?
that's
Exactly.
right.
Well,
Right?
that's a
That's right.
And
dream.
that's probably
That
what the
is, yeah.
parents want more
Yeah.
because they want
Are
their
you
Right.
kids
kidding?
next to them.
Well, you
Exactly.
never.
And now,
Yeah, you don't want them
those
to
kids
go.
can't buy the house next door.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
And
It's
right.
very
that's a
true.
problem.
You
It's a
explain things
problem.
very, meat and
Yeah.
potatoes. I like that. You
You
talk
got
like,
to be down.
yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
you got to be down to earth.
That's life. You
Uh,
got to, in order to just, make everyone understand. The thing is
Absolutely.
you have a lot of talking to do.
Yeah.
A lot of talking to do.
Well, and it's not only me, but it's everybody here. We
Mhm.
got to get them. We got to get the message out that we cannot rely on government.
Exactly.
This whole idea of single health pay or system where the government's going to take over your health care. That's a disaster,
That.
and it's a disaster waiting to happen. My relatives in Italy, my one cousin, she unfortunately has brain cancer. She lives in a little town south of Bari called Pugliana Mare, right?
Mhm.
She has to go to Milan to get treatment
Yeah.
because of the socialized medicine. Now that's like going from here to Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a trip.
You have to fly on an airplane
Right.
once every other week for her to go to her doctor. I think about that because of the system and because of the socialized medicine and the way it is. You bring that here, you're going to see a change in your health care for the worst.
That's
Oh,
right. That's right.
definitely, definitely.
Yep, that's
Well,
right.
well,
But anyway, we
it's a
definitely
great
have to thank
conversation,
you
really.
for coming on.
No
I know
problem. I was
it's.
happy to be here.
I know we have other colleagues of yours that were watching,
Oh, okay.
and so they were upset because they weren't on the show. But
Uh
guys, you
oh.
know I love you. You know I
Oh
love you.
boy.
Okay, you know I love you.
Hey, look,
All right,
you
so
can't have everybody, right?
yeah, so how can anybody get a hold of you? I mean, if they need information, if they, I mean, I know you gave your number out again. I don't know if we
Well,
have it on
I
the.
think we have my number here. I don't know if we can shoot that on up on the
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
screen.
he's
see,
putting it up.
Um,
Yes.
but
he's doing it as we speak.
like I said, it's my office is in East Meadow, 1975 Hempstead Turnpike, Suite 202, and the phone number there is 516-228-4960.
Say it backwards.
I
Aye.
think we got you on
Say,
that
There we
one.
go.
that's not going to dial the
Look
right
at
number, right?
that.
Well, you do have those people. Now I remember my next door neighbor had her phone number was the same at the pizza parlor, backwards and forwards when she owned the pizza
Oh,
Oh,
she was.
parlor.
I was lucky with
So
it.
yeah, so it was like 433, and there was like 334 at the end or something.
So I
Oh,
have a saying that I tell people to do every day. I'll tell you what it is, but do you have a saying, like, something that you believe in that you say all the time? See, mine is get up, get dressed, show up every day.
Okay.
So do you have anything like that that you profess that you like to
get
Well,
up,
say?
take a
I
shower, and
think
go to
that.
work. There you go. That's the saying.
Well,
That's all.
I don't know if there's any sayings, but I always, remember my great grandmother, and she always used to tell me, she always used to say, John, always remember you get more in life with honey than you
Right.
do with
So
vinegar.
that's
And
exactly
you
what
know
I
something,
wanted, something like that.
Very true.
I think that's very true because, we always have to remember when we go on out there and we deal with other people and, we're trying to get a goal accomplished, we can't go in there and we should be nice to our fellow man,
Absolutely.
and
That's
we
true.
we can't just be aggressive and
No,
nasty.
Yeah,
no.
that
And
stuff's got to stop.
today, aggressiveness has got to stop.
It's getting
You know,
crazy. Yeah, that's
It's
right.
not healthy and it's
yeah,
not safe.
absolutely.
But also, Sandra, I have to give you a shout out. Patrick, how are you, buddy? Paul, Amanda, I hope all is well. I hope the family's doing well. Veronica, Robin, how are you, love, love? Michael Barrows, how you doing? Sabri Pamar, I haven't seen you in a while, Sabri. Steve Gaffner, I love you to death. And yes, we will do lunch. And then we have Anthony Montanero. We have, Steve Gaffner, Steve. And I just missed another Steve. Steve Flakes, sorry. Jennifer Lavelli, how you doing, hun?
Oh, my daughter.
And
She
Tammy,
listens
how
to
you
you.
doing?
And she's a
Was there anybody else? Anybody else?
Uh-oh.
Did I miss anybody? No, I didn't miss anybody. I just want to make sure.
Mm.
No. And Gloria, good morning, good morning, good morning. Gloria's with Undercover. It's a great band. And also we had I want to thank. I hate this when I forget what bands we had. I know, isn't that something?
Well, I wasn't here on
Hey,
the
Killer.
weekend. I missed the weekend. I
Yeah, no,
wasn't
no,
around.
what were you doing?
I was busy. I had a nice
No
weekend.
comment. No
He likes
comment.
teasing me. Like, we just
Yeah,
have this thing.
yeah. Anyway, okay, easy, Killer. Okay, easy, easy. And, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
No
Yeah,
Before
problem.
we
yeah.
say
Happy to be
goodbye,
here.
we want to thank our sponsors, which is look at this today. I'm having like
Tranquility
a free,
Spa.
Tranquility Spa for all
Tranquility
your.
Spa.
It's a great place. It definitely has a beautiful a cave where are your feet sensitive, soft, really kind of. It's kind of rough. You gotta put
I've never
gotta
been
put
to a spa.
well, no,
Oh, well,
because
you're
it's the salt
going.
cave. You have to walk in it, but it
I
has these
don't know about
stones.
That's it.
that. Oh,
And
really?
yeah, it's really, really good. It's great. And they have
You're
great.
going with your wife.
You get a great
Or
massage,
else.
back rub, the
No, no,
works.
no.
I'm not
And
kidding. We
give it
do
to your
this.
wife. No, 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 no. It's really, it's a very.
Everybody that
everybody's
gets a
there.
copy of my good book goes to spa.
Yeah.
No,
You see
no,
Okay,
that?
you're gonna
I
like that.
couldn't
You and
do
your
that.
wife. It's for you and
You
your wife
go
for crying
to
out
the
loud.
Soul Cave.
He's thinking it's a happy ending.
No,
No, no,
Shut
no.
up,
It's not
okay?
like that,
All right,
honey.
it's
No,
not
no.
like that.
It's a salt cave.
It's a salt
You
cave.
sit in
You've
the
never
back
been in one.
with your
You
wife
sit in the chair with your wife. Yeah,
and
it's
you
a beautiful
breathe.
thing.
It's wonderful. You call and make an appointment. Yes.
Street Fighter,
That's
Street
from us.
Fighter, Street Fighter, guys. I love you, Peter. Thank
I'm
you
not
so
serious.
much.
I'm
Oh,
serious.
I know
And
you
looking forward
And
to
serious.
seeing you
give
soon.
one to your
All right,
Liz.
ease up, Killer.
Shut up. I'm giving him
Okay,
one for Liz.
look at this one.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay,
I'm not
Oro
done.
Puro Jewelers with Teddy Christina, all your jewelry needs, and then we have Jackson Ewan. Prince does the best taxes in the world. He knows all the shortcuts without being getting yourself in trouble. And then we have MV3 Salon, which is a great salon. That's where we have to go and have our hair done.
Yes, and I just yesterday,
little
the
I
other
have
day, she
left.
did mine.
And
Great
yeah, it's
place.
362 Dogwood Avenue in Franklin Square. And
They
as for
do it
Bethany
all.
or Jenny, and they're gonna really give you a dye job, whatever they do. I don't know. How they do it.
Everything nails,
Yeah, they do
toes,
everything. Yeah,
Botox,
they can sew
hair,
your lips together. Even that. Anyway,
eyebrows, and if you want, they'll go to the deli and get your coffee and a sandwich. I mean, that's
oh,
pretty nice. They did that for me. But everybody on this show gets a loaf of Italian bread because I believe, and so does Greg, in breaking bread. So this is your
oh,
bread to
give
break.
that back to me a second.
No,
Give
Uh
you're
that back.
not
oh.
getting it. Don't. I know what he's gonna do.
Don't you
It's the what it looks
stop
like.
stop.
It's bread.
Look at this. Do you want somebody giving you a piece of bread wrapped like this? It was in her pocketbook. First it went to
No,
the
it
truck
wasn't. Here,
like this. Yeah, here,
listen,
John. Put that in your pocket.
John.
Go.
This is where it was in the bag.
Look
But I
this.
wanted you to see
Okay,
that it was
John. Yeah.
bread,
So why didn't
John.
you give it back in the bag?
All right. So then put it in the
went.
bag.
It sat on the couch.
It
It
didn't
sat on
matter.
the bar.
It came from the bag
It's
to the
okay.
table.
Ira, what's going
Alright.
on, buddy? You just came on
Don't
here.
you like that idea, breaking bread?
Well, that it was Jesus, right?
Exactly, and I believe in it.
Ira, I'm
That's
giving
how
you
I
a
mean
shout
most
out
of
from
my
Ira's
clients. I
list.
bring them
All right,
Italian
all
bread.
right. Easy, killer. Easy,
I
killer.
like this
Easy.
guy.
All right, I know you like every guy. Anyway, Ira's list. And looking forward to seeing everybody this week. And stay tuned. Please share this if you after watching it. Other people, if you want to watch it later on, you can. So thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it, and I
Thank
hope to
you
see
for
you
having
soon.
me here.
And keep up the good work because we need people like you.
Thank you.
And when you become president, don't forget us little people.
This is right.
I don't know about that.
Okay. That's what they all say. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much, and it's a
I'm going to say, he wants me to say it's a wrap, but it's not yet. Because I thank you because you're going to help me with that one.
Well, you tell that
right.
person to call over to my office, and we'll reach out to the Department of Labor for them.
Thank you so much, and it's.